Welcome back to Learn Economy. In this particular video, we'll be covering the Adam Smith theory of development. For the sake of convenience, actually, this topic is divided in two videos. The first part will be discussed in this video, and the next part would be discussed in the next video. Actually, this is a theory that is discussed not in that detail in many of the videos. So I thought I would be giving you the detailed version of this theory, because this is one of the very much important theories in the arena of development economics. So that is why I have divided this theory into two segments. Okay, so let's go to the theory. As we all know, Adam Smith is a person who is considered to be the father of economics. So we know this is the fact, but it's very important to ask a question: why he is considered to be the father of economics? It is very important to understand that he is the first explorer in the field of economics. Not only because of this he is considered to be the father of economics, but also he has revolutionized many ideas in the arena of economics. And one of this example is economic planning. Okay. And also we could see that he has compiled many of the ideas what he has received from his predecessors, and he has compiled these ideas into a book. Okay, he has written a very famous book which is known as The Wealth of Nation, and in this particular book he has given all his ideas with respect to the trade, with respect to development, with respect to classical economist thoughts, with respect to macroeconomics and all. So here in this book itself is a compilation of his thoughts, okay, which later came to be known as the turning point in the arena of development of economics, the very subject itself. Now coming or focusing mainly into the theory of development which was put forward by Adam Smith, it is very important to understand that the theory itself focuses on certain main points, and the first point is natural law. So in order to understand the theory of Adam Smith with respect to the arena of development economics, it's very important to understand what natural law is. Okay, now coming to natural law, it's very important to understand the division between natural law and the law which is formulated by the state, or the law which is formulated by the individual, or man-made law. And as far as Adam Smith is concerned, what he has done is that he has given importance to natural law rather than to man-made laws. And what he says is that it is very important to give importance to natural law because it is very much superior, and it is the nature that teaches the man the lesson of morality and honesty. And Adam Smith always placed natural law above man-made law, and he says that natural law has many favorable effects on the development of an individual, and also natural law is just and moral, and thus it is superior to the other laws, or the state laws, or the individual laws. Okay, and this person Adam Smith is considered to be an advocate of laissez-faire with respect to economic affairs. Laissez-faire means the freedom of individual. Okay, and this is a person, he is a person who always says that there should be freedom to the individual, and also all the economic activity should be left to the society or left to the individual. And he says that when all the individuals in a society strive for their own self, their own their own economic activities, that will help in the development of the economy itself, because all the individual would be driven by their own self-interest. As a result, the interest of the society will be attained. This is the main argument of Adam Smith. Now coming to the second point, which is a laissez-faire economy, and we have already discussed this. Laissez-faire requires the state not to impose any kind of restriction on the freedom of the individual. So freedom should be given to the individual so as to do whatever he or she wants. So the theory of economic development actually rests on the pillars of saving, division of labor, and wide extent of the market. All these are the ideas of Adam Smith, that is the division of labor, then division of labor, extent of market, all these things are put forward by Adam Smith, especially in the arena of development economics. And what he has done is that he has placed very much importance to saving and capital accumulation, and he says that this is a starting point of his theory of development. And coming to the case of laissez-faire, as per Adam Smith, this is something that allows the producers to produce as much as they like, earn as much as income as which they can, and save as much as they like. Okay, and he believed that it is safe to leave the economy to the to be propelled, regulated and controlled by the invisible hand. So he says that it is not important, there shouldn't be any kind of government intervention. He has opposed government intervention, or he was against the idea of government intervention, and he advocated the policy of laissez-faire. By this he means that everything should be left to the or everything should be given to the market forces, or everything should be given to the hands of demand and supply. And if there is any kind of imbalance between demand and supply, or if there is any kind of problem between demand and supply, there would be interest rates in the economy that will make adjustments in demand and supply, so that there would be equilibrium in the economy again, so there won't be any kind of problem. So this is the main argument of Adam Smith. And coming to the production function which was put forward by Adam Smith, he has identified three factors of production, which were labor, capital and land. And this production function is actually denoted by Y, which is a function of K, L and N. K is the stock of capital, L is the labor force and N is the land. He says that since the growth is a function of capital, labor, land and technology, and land being passive element is the least important thing. So what he has given importance is that he has given importance to capital, he has given importance to labor, and he has given importance to technology. And land, as we all know, it is something that is considered to be fixed and it cannot be increased, especially in the short run. As a result, he says that as a result, his theory gives importance mainly to capital, labor and technology. And his production function is actually it actually doesn't conceive the possibility of diminishing marginal productivity, and he says that his production function is something that is subject to the law of increasing returns to scale. And Smith really argued that the real cost of production shall tend to diminish with the passage of time. As a result, the existence of internal and external economies occurring out of the increases in the market size. So this is the main reason why which led him to say that his production function is something that is subject to law of increasing returns to scale and not diminishing marginal productivity or constant returns to scale. Smith is a person who has asserted the division of labor, and also he says that division of labor doesn't depend merely on the technological feasibility, but it greatly depends on the extent of the market as well as on the size of the market. So that is, he says that division of labor is something that depends on the size of the market, and the size of the market depends on the available stock and the institutional restriction placed on both domestic as well as international trade. He also recognizes the importance of technological development because he knows that, or he says that technology plays a very important role in productivity, and this is possible only if sufficient capital is available in the economy. Now coming to the next concept, which is a division of labor. The rate of growth of economic growth is actually or the rate of growth of economy. It is something that is determined by the size of productive labor and the productivity of labor. And productivity of labor actually depends on the technological progress of a country, and which in turn depends upon the division of labor. And division of labor becomes true dynamic force in Adam Smith theory of economic growth. Rather than everything, division of labor is considered to be the important point, especially in the Adam Smith theory of economic development. And this particular point which was stressed by Adam Smith is also detailed by this Schumpeter, which is another economist. He says that nobody either before or after Adam Smith has ever thought of putting such a burden upon the division of labor. So that much importance is given to the division of labor by Adam Smith when he actually went for the development of his theory of economic development. Okay. And division of labor, it increases the productivity of labor through specialization of tasks. This is because when a particular person he engages in a particular task for several days, he will become a specialist in that particular task. So as a result, we could say that division of labor lead to specialization of labor or specialization of tasks by the labor. Okay, when a work is subdivided into various segments or various parts, the worker is asked to perform small parts of a whole job. As a result, what happens is that the efficiency of the labor increases, and which will lead him to become an expert in that particular job. As a result, he will become a specialist in that particular job. As thus, the concept of division of labor, especially in the arena of Adam Smith theory of development, it means the transference of a complex production process into a number of simple processes. This is mainly to facilitate the introduction of various methods of production. Smith actually concentrated upon the social division of labor, which later emphasized the cooperation of all the satisfaction of the desires of each of the laborers. And now it's really a process by which different types of laborers which produce goods to satisfy the individual needs of their producers and which are then transformed into social labor, which produces goods for exchanging them for other goods. So we have already told about The Wealth of Nations, which is a book of Adam Smith, and in this book he has given importance to division of labor, and he has pointed out three benefits, three basic or three main benefits of having division of labor, and these are increasing the dexterity of workers, saving time required to produce commodity, and invention of better machines and equipment. The third advantage actually implies that in the invention is the result of workers' intelligence, but as per Smith, he wrote that workers become as stupid and ignorant as it is possible for human creature to become as a result of division of labor. And division of labor, it leads to exchange of goods, which highlights the importance of trade. In short, division of labor leads to exchange of goods, which in turn promotes trade, widens market. Then we know that all these things are very much important or very much essentially prerequisite for economic development. Next topic is capital accumulation, which is something that it is very important to say that Adam Smith theory of economic development is something that revolves around the concept of capital accumulation, and the growth is functionally related to rate of investment. This is what Adam Smith theory of economic development says. According to Adam Smith, any increase in the capital stock of a country generally leads to more than proportionate increase in output on account of continually growing division of labor. As per him, capital stock in a country or capital stock in an economy consists of goods for maintenance of productive workers and goods for helping the workers in their productive activities. So with that, we end the part 1 of this video. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe this channel for more videos. Thank you very much.